to abort that baby at 21 weeks?
I'm not a doctor, but I believe it's a DNR,
It's called dilation and evacuation. Is that right?
as far as I understand, yes.
Yeah. And first, the doctor would dilate the cervix, and then the doctor would take what's called the doctor would call it a Sofer clamp. It's really a pair of pliers with sharp teeth on the end. And without giving the baby any pain medication, the doctor would go through the vagina, through the uterus, and start tearing the baby apart. Is that right?
As far as I understand the procedure.
Yeah, and she might start with the legs and pull them out, and the arms and pull them out, right? And then she might go for the heart or the spine and just pull the baby out piece by piece. Is that right? Without giving the baby pain medication.
Hey everyone! Today I'm diving into a controversial budget hearing that's been making waves across social media. Senator John Kennedy took center stage, grilling witnesses on abortion in a way that's got everyone talking. Buckle up, because I'm about to break down the 10 most explosive moments from this hearing. The hearing kicks off with Senator Kennedy questioning Professor Myers about a bold statement. Reproductive justice is economic justice. Now, you might think that's straightforward, but trust me, it gets complicated fast. Kennedy doesn't waste any time challenging this idea, especially when it comes to the unborn. He keeps pushing, asking if this so-called economic justice applies to the fetus, or as he puts it, the baby. It's clear from the get-go that we're in for a heated debate. Things really start to heat up when Kennedy shifts gears to late-term abortions. He's not pulling any punches, asking the witnesses point-blank about their stance on abortions up to the moment of birth. You can feel the tension in the room as the witnesses try to navigate these tough questions. It's a prime example of how complex and emotionally charged this issue can be. Now this is where it gets really intense. Kennedy brings up a 21-week-old fetus, describing its development and ability to feel pain. The level of detail he goes into is, well, let's just say it's not for the faint of heart. He's clearly trying to put a very human face on this debate, and you can see how uncomfortable it's making some of the witnesses. Alright, if you thought things were graphic before, brace yourselves. Kennedy goes into explicit detail about the dilation and evacuation procedure used in some abortions. I'm not going to repeat it here, but let's just say it's not easy listening. You can see the witnesses squirming, and honestly, I don't blame them. It's a stark reminder of the physical realities behind these policy debates. Hey, before I wrap up, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I cover all sorts of political hot topics, and you won't want to miss out. Throughout the hearing, there's this ongoing battle over words. Kennedy insists on using terms like baby, while the witnesses prefer fetus. It might seem like a small thing, but it really highlights how language shapes this entire debate. You can see both sides trying to control the narrative through the words they choose. As the hearing wraps up, things get pretty tense. The chair cuts Kennedy off, saying his time is up, but Kennedy's not having it. He insists he's just getting to the heart of the matter. It's a chaotic end to an already intense session.
In his opening statement, my good friend Senator Whitehouse said, I want to quote, "Reproductive justice is economic justice," close quote. Do you agree with that?
I might, as an economist, use the word rights, but yeah, I do agree with that.
Okay. That's not true for the baby, is it?
Well, first of all, I would refer to a fetus, not
Yeah,
a baby.
but that's, well, a fetus. I refer to it as a baby. That's not true for the baby, is it?
The evidence that I presented to you, Senator Kennedy, was evidence about measurable effects on the lives of women, families,
Right, I
and
got
children
that
who were
part, but that's
born.
not true for the baby, is it?
I'm sorry, I don't really understand
Well, it's
the
not
question.
true. Let me be clear.
Let me
I'm
back
sorry.
up. As an economist, I measure effects using data. I'm not here to talk about ethics, assignment of personhood. That's not my
Well, but you
role.
said you agreed with the chairman's statement that reproductive justice is economic justice. There is no economic justice for the baby because the baby's dead, right?
I wouldn't refer. I don't really know how to answer your question. I would refer to
was
a
the baby
fetus.
dead or alive?
We're referring to a fetus.
Okay, is the fetus dead or alive? after an abortion?
The fetus would be dead after an
Okay,
abortion.
all right. If the mother is healthy and the baby is healthy, do you support abortion up to the moment of birth?
So I think that's a really hard question to answer because that just doesn't happen. You're asking me about something that simply doesn't happen.
Well,
I
it's
think-
legal.
I will tell you that-
It's legal in Vermont, New Jersey, Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, Alaska, and the District of Columbia, and the Loon wing of the Democratic Party supports abortion up to the moment of birth. So, do you support that or oppose it?
I don't think, let me say, I'm here to talk about the economics of abortion.
No, you're here as an expert.
And
I'm just asking you
I
what
think you're
you
asking me a
believe.
question as a person, which I'll answer as a person.
Okay, tell me as a person.
I will tell you as a person that I have ambivalence about abortion. I will tell you as a person, I haven't personally had an abortion. And I will also tell you as a person looking at the evidence around me and understanding how complex the decisions are that people face.
Okay.
I'm just simply uncomfortable
I gotta move on,
thinking that there's a
Professor, 'cause I don't
simple
think
answer
you're
that
gonna
applies
answer
to
my
everyone.
question.
I trust women and their healthcare providers.
It's real simple. You either support abortion for a healthy mother and baby up to the moment of birth, or you don't. And I don't think it's a difficult question. How about you, doctor? Do you support, if the mother is healthy and the baby's healthy, do you support abortion up to the moment of birth?
So, Senator, you're using really inflammatory language to talk about a medical procedure, and it's not a simple yes or no. Not to mention, when you make statements like that, you're erasing the grief and the trauma that my patients
You're not
are
going to answer my
through.
question either, are you?
It's not a question that
I
can
think
be answered
I think I
in
know
an
your
appropriate
answer.
way,
I think
Senator.
I know your answer. Mrs. Ford, okay? Let's take a baby at 21 weeks. Hold up, Mike. This is a baby at 21 weeks, okay? The baby can feel pain, right?
Yes,
And the baby's pretty developed, right?
yes.
And do you know the name of the procedure that the doctor would use to abort that baby at 21 weeks?
I'm not a doctor, but I believe it's a DNR,
It's called dilation and evacuation. Is that right?
as far as I understand, yes.
Yeah. And first, the doctor would dilate the cervix, and then the doctor would take what's called the doctor would call it a Sofer clamp. It's really a pair of pliers with sharp teeth on the end. And without giving the baby any pain medication, the doctor would go through the vagina, through the uterus, and start tearing the baby apart. Is that right?
As far as I understand the procedure.
Yeah, and she might start with the legs and pull them out, and the arms and pull them out, right? And then she might go for the heart or the spine and just pull the baby out piece by piece. Is that right? Without giving the baby pain medication.
That's what I understand the procedure to be.
Okay, but then you got to get the head out. The baby's dead, but maybe not. Maybe it's still in pain, but then you got to get the head out. And even with the cervix dilated, you got to get the head out, which is hard. So then the doctor would go in and use those pliers to crush the baby's head. Is that right?
As far as I understand.
And then she'd pull the head out, the crushed skull out, right?
Senator Kennedy, your time has expired here.
Well, you
and
gave
Senator
the
Stabenow is
others
waiting.
plenty of time, Mr. Chairman.
Just letting you know, your time's expired. You have
Okay.
other senators waiting.
Well, I was waiting when you were letting others. I'm sorry you don't want to hear about what happens
No, I don't think anybody
in
else
an
is
actual
going- I don't think
abortion, but
anybody else
I
has gone
thought that
over.
was what we were here to talk about.
No one else has gone over. Some of the witnesses went a little bit long, but on both sides. So
I thought we were here
trying to
about
control that.
protecting mothers and killing babies.
I'm going to turn to Senator Stabenow and Ms.
I'm sorry
Phillips.
you
I'm
don't wanna
sorry that
hear it.
this had to
Like
take
we've
place
got
in
a
front of
whole
you.
roster here.
My apologies.
So there you have it, folks. 10 key moments from one of the most controversial hearings in recent memory. Whether you agree with Kennedy or not, one thing's for sure, this debate isn't going away anytime soon. Keep an eye on this channel for more breakdowns of the biggest political showdowns. Until next time.